Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Caruso III. I'm the publisher of the Capital Sports Report. I am also the host of the Capital Sports Report Live. Before we bring on our guest this evening, I would like to play this video first.
9.
Yeah.
205 spots. Two ladies ease them into the beams. One of them will come back and race tomorrow. One of them won't race again until the next stop on tour. Header flames from injected nitro cars and sparkling lights on the scoreboard. Oh, man. 5:09. Holy smokes, 278 miles an hour. Jackie goes 5:19 at 278 miles an hour. Megan Meyer just unloaded. 5:09. You sure you want to retire? Man, I want to drive that car. 270 miles an hour. What an incredible run. 9:12 at 60 feet. 234 miles an hour at the 8. 5:09 out the back door.
Tonight, we are welcoming two-time top alcohol dragster champion Megan Meyer onto the show. Welcome, Megan.
Oh, thank you for having me on that video. Oh, man, I did not expect to tear up with watching that, but man, that brings back so many memories.
Megan, for those that do not know, how did you get started in racing?
So my whole life basically has been involved in NHRA drag racing. So I've been around it since day one. My dad started racing in the 70s with his older brother. And then my sister and I, Rachel, we got started in 2004 with junior dragsters. And then it was 2016 was my first year in top alcohol dragster until the end of 2020, which was that video, which I'm sure you could tell because they're all wearing masks. And so, the U.S. Nats, winning that race really helped us win that second championship. And so, that's like top 3 races for me, and it brings back a lot of memories. So I really did not expect to tear up after watching that.
It brings back a lot of memories for you. Maybe it'll bring you back to a full-time competitor.
Well, I don't know about that. I love what I do right now. But I love the guys and the girls that we have on our team. So watching that video back, for me, like, I can remember that exact moment. But for drivers, we don't get to be a part of that celebration on the starting line. And that's one of the most impactful parts of racing. And so, when I'm not driving, I love being a part of that moment. And so just hearing my sister scream in the background, seeing the guys, like, how shocked they were and like so excited. And then I remember, at the top end, and I had no idea we ran that fast. Like, I knew we won the round because I never saw Jackie, but I had no idea what we ran. There was nobody there to do an interview from NHRA because it was so late, as you can tell in the video. And so, like, you can see in the video, if like you play the longer version, you can see I'm, just getting out doing my normal deal, like, no big deal. Like, yeah, like, we won the round, but it was just normal deal for us until the crew guys came up with the time slip. And like, I did not believe them at all. I had to see the time slip. And then what was cool was that with our other teammates, they were back a few pairs behind me. And so we actually, by the time we were pulling back around through Indy to head back to the pits, we drive right past the starting line, and they were on the starting line getting ready to go. And so I got to, watch her run. I think it was Julie. I don't remember exact. I think it was Julie. Watch their race. But I just remember me being able to go up and hug my dad, hug my family, our crew guys, and, get my chance to celebrate with them, and that's just so special.
You talked about your father being involved in the sport for a long time, and I believe from talking to you and your sister, wasn't it his brother involved in it as well?
Yes, his oldest brother Joe, who unfortunately passed away 2 years ago, and he's the one that really got all of us started with drag racing. So Joe was my dad's oldest brother, and my dad's a few years younger than him, but there's a couple brothers between them. And they're originally from Southern Indiana. Joe moved to Kansas City to go to Votech school, and my dad, as soon as he turned 18 and graduated from high school, he moved out to Kansas City to come live with him and work together. And they both just started going to the drag strip for fun, just to watch and hang out at the races. And then they're both, very mechanically inclined, so they started building race cars, and then race them and stuff. And so, yeah, like my whole life, it was always growing up with my dad and my uncle and my cousins going to the track, racing junior dragsters, and then super comp. And then also that weekend, what? I don't know if it was that weekend or the year before. I think it was that weekend though. I don't remember which year it was because we won Indy twice. But my cousin Dusty, who races with my uncle, he also won Indy, and together we have won a couple different nationals. But my uncle and my cousin were there. They also won Indy, and so we got to take pictures. You know what? I do remember it was that same weekend. Now I remember because we tried to take pictures together, but it was very limited on what we could do because of COVID, and they're very strict on how many people could be together, and you had to have masks on and all that stuff, which is so stupid. But yeah, so just another good memory from that weekend. It was one of the last races I had with my Uncle Joe before he passed away.
Today, your father's race team is a multi-car operation. You race Top Alcohol Dragster. Rachel has raced for the team. She's back this year racing. Jolie Natas is with the team. And then you have rental drivers like Matt Sackman and others who have also competed with the team. Could you talk about the team today where there's so many different parts and so many different people involved?
Yeah. Well, it's a full-time job handling it. So that's what I do. My parents have a couple of different businesses, and so I'm in charge of kind of, running them for them. And so, yeah, it is a full-time job handling all the logistics between different people. So trying to fly crew guys in from all over the country. We are based in Kansas City, but we only have one crew guy that lives here and works in the shop with us. Everybody else is all over the United States. And so from California to Atlanta, we've got crew guys, and they're just friends of ours that we've, had really good relationships over the years, whether they're someone that worked on another team and joined our team, or if it's someone brand new or a friend that wanted to get more involved. And so just whenever they get time off of work, they come and volunteer to help us out. And, thankfully our guys have been with us for a very long time. And so, so we trust them 110%. I am actually able to go to a race without my dad, bring some of our best crew guys with me, which is what we did earlier this year for the first Nitro Chaos race. And, my dad was racing in Charlotte that weekend for the four wides. My mom, my sister, my uncle, and one of our friends came with me to Cincinnati to run the Nitro Chaos race. And, yeah, it's just so cool. We're able to have those opportunities because we have such great crew guys with us. And without the crew, the cars wouldn't run. The driver can be excellent, can cut perfect reaction times, do their job, everything they need to do. But if you don't have the right crew guys in place, then the car's not going to perform. It's not going to run fast and, save parts. And so we're very, very grateful for the crew that we have on our team. We've got such a great, strong relationships with everybody on the team, and we're able to, consistently run well because of them. And so it's easy for us to bring on rental drivers and give them a really good car to where they have the opportunity to, go rounds and maybe win their first race or win a race within their first year or two, which we have done that before with multiple drivers on our team.
One of them not related to me, but I know she drives pro stock today, Camry Caruso.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, her first race, she went out and won in my car.
Oh wow! I wanted to ask you about this. You said you have one crew guy that's local to you in the shop, but everyone else is away. So how do you service the cars that need to be serviced before the races?
Yeah, we all do. So my sister actually doesn't even live close to home. She's a few hours away. So it's just me, my dad, and then our crew guy. His name is Taylor. And so it's just the three of us, but my dad is very organized and efficient. And so he always has a plan. He's always thinking ahead. Like right now, we're already planning our schedule for next year. You know, even though NHRA hasn't released anything yet, we're still trying to get drivers in place for next year and beyond. And so he is very strategic. And so he, whenever we are done with a race, he makes the crew guys at the track there do a full service on the car or get it 80% done. You know, maybe we need to change head gaskets or change clutch whenever we get to the next track, but we'll get it most of the way done before we do leave that track. So that way it is less work we need to do when we get to the shop. Or, you know, like from August to September, they're racing every single weekend. So they won't even come home. Like I won't see my dad for a couple of months. And so they just have to, you know, do it while they're, you know, at the track before they leave to go to the next track. And so, but also with that comes needing to bring enough parts, tire, oil, fuel, spark plugs, you know, all that type of stuff. And so and it's a lot when you have two cars. You have to double everything, and we don't take two trailers. We've got to fit all of that into one trailer. So there's a lot of planning and that goes on to be like, okay, we'll bring enough fuel for this race. We know, you know, we're going to do these 3 races next, so we need to bring some for that, but we can't fit all that in the trailer, so we need to go there to buy fuel, make sure we get this much fuel to last for the couple races. Like there's just a whole lot of planning that goes on with it. And that's what me and my dad just do every day, all day.
Do you guys have a problem where sometimes, like you said, sometimes things don't fit, so you have to go pick it up somewhere else? Do you run into that a lot?
Not a lot. Actually, we have gotten pretty good about storage and, you know, being really effective with that. You know, for us, like for example, instead of taking, you know, 100 different jugs of fuel or jugs of oil, we'll just take a full drum, and it takes up less space in the trailer. So that way we have more room for fuel jugs, you know, other stuff like that. So we'll try to be really strategic with how we plan. Also, we'll, you know, if there is, you know, like say when we're going to Indy, my uncle lives up in Indy, and so sometimes we'll store some of our extra parts or fuel and oil at his house. So that way, you know, if we're racing somewhere else and then before we go to the track, we can stop, fuel up at his shop before we head over there. So, you know, just try to make sure, you know, we've got it all figured out. And stuff like that. So we actually haven't really had any issues with that, thankfully. And thankfully, the car's been very happy. We haven't really, you know, needed very many parts this year. But that is something where, you know, say we blow up a motor, well, we have 2 spares complete that we carry inside the trailer. But you could easily go through both of those running 2 cars in just one weekend. And so we'll have to, you know, ship to Brad Anderson and then have him ship something else to us, you know, ship it to the next race, which actually, by the way, that is, you know, reminds me, I got a new helmet done. The painter just finished it up Monday, overnighted it to Simpson to get it finished. And so Simpson is sending that to the track for my race this weekend at Mocan instead of, you know, shipping it home and me having it. So fingers crossed that the helmet shows up before Friday so I can use it at the race this weekend.
If not, you gotta prepare an old one.
Yeah, I do have my old one, but since I got a new suit this year, and my old suit is retired, so and my helmet's about to expire too, so gonna hang up that one and then just use the new gear moving forward.
Are you allowed to say what's on this new helmet? I know before it used to have the two M's on it and the two colors.
Yes, so there is no M's on this one, but it is going to be. It is. He sent me some pictures. I haven't seen the whole. He didn't send me pictures of it finished, but I told him I like pink and blue and sparkles, and he did like a little mural on the back too of a deer because I love deer hunting, and so. Yeah, so that's a hint. So yeah, I'll make sure. Yeah, I'll make sure to do a video on my social media whenever I get it this weekend.
Have you had any problems with like helmets or like suits before a race? And I know shipping can be a bit crazy, it could be lost. Have
Um,
you run into that?
not really, actually. I mean, I could probably name a few times over the last 5 years that it's happened, but really not a whole lot lately. Not that I could think of.
Okay. Let's talk about good times. You are the two-time top alcohol dragster champion, like I mentioned. What does that mean to you to win those two championships? And when we talked in 2020, before you won the 2020 championship, you told me that when you won in 2019, it was your first uh, team championship for your Randy Meyer Racing since 2004, I believe it was, with Alan Bradshaw, who now races in Funny Car Chaos, won his championship in Top Alcohol Dragster.
Yes, yeah, and it was 2003, I believe.
Oh,
And
2003,
so,
okay.
yeah, so it'd been 16 years since we won the world championship, and so we have won the regional series, the local ones, but yeah, 16 years since winning the national championship. So, yeah, 2019 was a really good year for our team. And so, it just felt really good to finally get that. I had been top 3 for the last couple of years before that, but just, a little bit, just not enough whenever you're going against people like Joey Severance and Sean Cowie and Rich McPhillips. Those types of guys were always the ones leading the pack. And, and Jim Whiteley before that. And so, yeah, like it felt so good to finally get that chance. And so I remember we won it in Charlotte. And so it was the race in the fall. So just the two wides at Charlotte. But, Charlotte is my favorite drag strip to race at on the national series for NHRA. And so it was just so awesome to be able to win the race and win the championship. And that was also the race that my sponsor, NGK Spark Plugs, also sponsored the event. So everybody from NGK was there. And so it was just so cool to be able to fill everybody up in the winner's circle, have the big banner for the championship, have the 2 Wallies and all that stuff. So it was so cool. And then I remember the weekend after that was the Dallas race, and we went and won that too. So just kind of like, put an exclamation point on that championship. And then 2020 had no idea what was going to happen that year, right? I remember I flew into Gainesville for the Gator Nationals on like Thursday morning. Sportsman cars were doing their time trials, and then by noon Thursday, I remember Alan Reinhart coming on to the speaker saying, everybody, like, races cancel, you've got to leave like tomorrow morning. You have 24 hours to get out of here and go home. And then I remember we actually had, because our next race was going to be in Texas. And so instead of us going home, because, we didn't know we were going to be quarantined for a couple of months.
Yes.
So we actually took the truck and trailer to one of our friends' house, left it at their shop, and then we flew home from Texas. And then we couldn't go down to Texas for like 2 months to go and get our truck and trailer with the cars. And so I remember, like, my dad and I are in the shop, and we were like, what are we going to do? Like, our car's not here. We can't go get them. Like, we don't have anything to work on. And so we actually, like, he got a couple of his like other projects finished, which, thankfully we had the time to get those finished. But yeah, it was very interesting. And so beginning of the year, didn't know that was going to happen. And then middle of the summer, like, not knowing what the schedule was going to be like, if we were going to get the chance to race. And so I think it wasn't until, like July, August, when we actually got the chance to start racing again. And then Indy, September, was when I made my announcement saying that I was going to be done after the end of that year. And then thankfully won the championship for 2020 on a limited schedule, but still won enough races. We won Indy. We ended up winning Vegas to get the win for the second championship. And I know if you play that clip, it'll also make me tear up.
No, I won't do that. Well, I'm pretty sure I remember this. I think it was like the Lone Star Nationals or something. It was like around May 2020 at the Dallas Motorplex. You won a race, and Sean Bellemere won in funny car.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes, I remember now because my sister was there, and I remember we had to wear masks. And I think that might have been like our first race back, and we all had to wear masks, and we were all like still getting used to, we're used to being around these people all the time, breathing on each other, working on the cars, and now we can't. And so, yeah, I remember that. And I remember I also got a belt buckle for winning that race. So for the regional, I got a belt buckle, and for the national, I got the cowboy hat.
Oh, so you're all cowboyed up now.
Yeah.
You are correct. When they did return, it was in July 2020 at the U.S. Now it's called IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. It was called Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis, I believe it was called before.
Yep.
And that was in July 2020. When racing started coming back in July 2020, did you know that I'm going to plan my retirement before the U.S. Nationals, or that was like a spur of the moment thing?
It was very much planned. And so I actually planned it the end of 2019 was when I decided it was going to, well, even before that. So in the summer of 2019 was when I got engaged. And, I made a promise to my husband or my fiance at that time that I would take our relationship more seriously. I'm making a big commitment towards him, and being gone for 6 months out of the year racing is not what, a marriage is supposed to be like, especially a brand new one. And so after we got engaged, I had decided I was going to take a step back, and then really decided, okay, I'll do one more year, and then I'm just going to be done with it. And also, like, I got really burnt out on it as well. Like I said, I'm gone for 6 months out of the year. There's so much travel that you have to do, going all over the country, following the NHRA schedule. And, I was getting burnt out on it. I did a lot really hard, really fast. And, we're going to more races that any other teams go to. And, the fact that we run multiple drivers, multiple cars, our drivers are competing in different regions as well. So we've got to go to Division 5, Division 4, Division 3, Division 1. We've got to go all these other places that other teams aren't going to. Whereas, so some teams might go to 15 races maximum. We were doing 28, 30 races each year. And when I wasn't driving, I still had to go to those races to work on the car, help out the team, do the marketing and media, all that type of stuff. So I was just getting burnt out on it. I decided I'll give it one more year, give it my all, see if we could repeat. after winning that championship in 2019. And so met with our sponsors with NGK. They were kind of sad about it because we had a really good program going on. But thankfully we were able to continue that with my sister. And now we are continuing our partnership with NGK with our Shop Squad Student Tech Appreciation Program. And so, so it was very much planned to take that break off. And, I honestly had no desire to come back after making that decision. Like when I said I was retiring, like I meant it. Like full time, like I had no desires of coming back. I had achieved everything I wanted to, except for, a couple races like Maple Grove, I didn't get the chance to win at. In All-Stars, Brainerd, Maple Grove, All-Stars, Atlanta, but, that track closed too. So there's a couple tracks on my list that I didn't get the chance to win or, go all the way at. But, I was very happy with my decision. I didn't really have much desire to come back and try to keep going. But then all of a sudden, the Nitro Chaos came up, and the MoCan race last year, which was almost a year ago to this date, it came up and it's in our backyard. And I was like, man, like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like I have to do this. And thankfully my license wasn't expired yet. So I was still able to do the race last year. And then it was just an exhibition deal that they've now turned into a series. And so, like I said, like it wasn't a thing when I made that decision in 2020, but I'm so happy with my decision and what we're doing now.
I want to get onto MoCam returning in a second because I know that you won that race. You talked about the championship in 2020. You actually won the championship in Las Vegas, and you won the race and the championship. I forget who you were competing against.
It was Joey Severance. Or no. Yes, it was Joey Severance.
Someone, I think Sean Cowie gave him a motor so that you can race each other.
Yes.
Was that race?
Yes. So what it was we were all so close in points that so I think I took out Cowie in the semifinals, and then we had to run Joey Severance in the finals. But Joey broke his motor in the semis, and with Joey and Sean, their engines weren't the same. Like Joey runs Noonan, Sean runs Brad Anderson. And so like it wasn't an easy swap. Like they had to change all sorts of stuff around. And I remember everybody, like all the other racers were like just swarmed over there, like checking in on them. And then they'd come and check on us. And like we just had our normal easy maintenance deal. We didn't hurt anything. And so we were just like hanging out, like waiting for them to call us up, and they were just thrashing, trying to put this together. And I think it was like some stuff was like on the opposite side of the motor, so they had to like make like fittings in tubes and stuff to like be able to switch it over to the other side. Like I remember it was a really huge deal for them to do that and have absolutely no idea if it was going to work or not. And it almost did. They were able to leave the starting line, I think probably around like 300 feet. When he tried to shift it, then the car died. And but everybody, everybody, especially on my team, holds this over my head that I gave Joey a head start because I knew this was my last race. I knew it was like, because I had like Vegas was the last race I was going to. I knew it was the final round, so I wasn't going to get any other chance after that run. And if I won that run, then the championship was mine. If I lost, then it went to Cowie. And there's just so much on my chest that weekend, like so much on my shoulders, that whenever I staged the car, I wasn't even looking at the tree. I was like looking at the finish line, like just thinking of, how I got to this point, what it means to me, like everything else that was going on leading up to it. And then all of a sudden the tree comes down and I hear Joey launch, and I look at the tree again and there's the big fat green light, and I'm like, oh crap, like I need to go, like the race is on. So I stepped on the throttle. He was way ahead of me. He launches a lot harder too with being revved up with the supercharger and all that. And so, but thankfully we got really lucky. His car died. We still ran decent. Like I don't remember what we ran, but I know it was still a good run. And yeah, so just crazy day that day, crazy weekend.
Yes. Drag racing, a lot of people, and I know when I cover Maple Grove every year, all the racers, no matter who they are, if they saw me a gazillion times or saw me for the first time, they always say like, I'm now a part of their family. And drag racing, you have a lot of people who consider you family, and you learn a lot of life lessons from drag racing
Yeah.
that helps you in life. For those that do not know or maybe listening now or listening later, could you talk more about the life lessons that you do learn from drag racing? Because you don't win all the time, and defeat teaches you a lot that builds character.
Yes, exactly. That is so true. Yes. So, you always, no matter how successful you are, you will lose. And, you will lose more times than you win. And that's just in life, like whether it's drag racing or, another type of motorsport or any other activity, you are going to lose more than you win. And so, always having a good mindset and just being focused. I feel like that's something that I was always really strong at. I never really let too much get to me emotionally or mentally, except for when it is my very last race. And, I had all those emotions going through my head. But, every other run before that, I feel like I've always been pretty strong. And, as soon as I put that helmet on, I am just dead focused on what I need to do. Cut a light, step on the gas as soon as I can. And so I study a lot of, I read a lot of mental, personal development books. And, for me, I love reading. Like I read every single day. I read every morning, every night, no matter what I'm doing. And so for me, like I'm always trying to learn to expand, and whether it's about habits or financial or marketing, anything like that, like I'm always trying to read so I can, so for me I can get better and stronger and faster at what I need to do. So, and that's also how our dad raised us. Being in racing, we always knew we wanted to follow his footsteps and do what he did, and we made that known to him early on. And so he helped condition us to be, to work hard, to not let things get to you, to really be focused. And he would test us all the time, to make sure we were strong enough, able to do it. And so, we were both pretty successful with junior dragsters and super comp before we got into top alcohol. And I think it's just, like the proof is the fact that I won 2 championships. My sister won the championship the only year she raced full time. And if she would have kept racing after that, I have no doubt she would have won the championship again. And, but it also goes back to, like I said at the very beginning, we have such good people on our team that, we're all just in sync, and we all know what our job is, and we all execute and do it 100% every single time. We don't half-ass anything. One of my dad's favorite sayings, lessons he always taught us, was you're only as strong as your weakest link. So we are constantly trying to find where that weak link is. Like, is it in the driver? Is it a crew guy? Or is it a part? Is it the actual chassis? Where is that weak link, and how can we change it so that way, it can get stronger, and then find the next weakest link. And so he is always changing, always trying to figure out how to get a little bit more power just for a thousandth of a second with the car. And goes back to the video that you played, running that 509, breaking that record. And a lot of people don't remember, they remember the first one, but we ran another 509 after that, and we ran even faster. We ran a 509 with a 0 the very next day in the semifinals. And it's just goes to show how great of a team we have. And so yeah.
You touched on this a few minutes ago. You guys have a student appreciation program. And I know the NHRA has a YES program where they bring students out to national events.
Yeah, well, and we've actually just started the student tech program this year, and so it is something separate from the YES program, but kind of similar. And so we are both going, targeting students that are in automotive. And so for us specifically, we are reaching out to students in college. And what we're doing is we have a giveaway program. So each month, the students need to sign up on our website. We just have a really easy form, and they just need to provide like a paragraph or two about why they chose the automotive field and what they want to do with their future after they graduate. Every month, I pick a winner from those that entered the contest each month, and then I will make a video for that winner, tell them why I chose them, and then we will send them prizes. And so we've been able to add on some really great partners with that program. So we have Boxo Tools, who donates a socket set with a carrying case for them. Gunk is donating some of their degreaser wipes, which are my favorite thing to use in the pits. NGK Spark Plugs, who is the main host of the program, Shop Squad is part of NGK, and so they donate a rolling stool and a Carhartt bag to the student winners. And then we are also adding on new partners as well, because it's a really strong program. And so this hasn't been announced yet, but I can tell you here, Lucas Oil is also joining the program, and so they are donating their 3-piece detailing kit of the Slick Mist products for our winners. And so that's something new we will be announcing in a couple weeks for the month of July. But yeah, it's something new that we started this year. And then also the winner will get one free ticket to come to any of our races. So whether they want to go to a chaos race or an NHRA race, we will give them a ticket and give them the VIP treatment where they can even, if they want to come jump in and help out the crew guys, or, set the wheelie bar, put some air in tires, change spark plugs, we'll let them do that on the team.
I know before, it's not Don Schumacher Racing anymore, but Don Schumacher Racing, I believe it was like Western Tech. I don't remember that. I think that was the school name. They partnered with some school, and they had like interns that actually worked with the race team. Do you guys do that?
We actually have done something like that in the past. It was not with a specific school, but kind of again, like we did a contest and sent it out to a couple different schools. And, it's just very similar, where they had to just send us a deal telling us why they love automotive. And we actually did that for a few years and actually hired one of the students to come and work on the team.
Wow. Megan, the U.S. Nationals is the marquee event that everybody wants to win in their racing career. You have done this. What does it mean to you to be called a U.S. Nationals winner?
Yeah, it's, just that whole video just tells you why. We work hard all year long. We want to treat every race the same, no matter if it's a regional or if it's the U.S. Nationals. Every win is such a huge accomplishment. But Indy is known to be one of the biggest ones. And, as a driver, if you tell someone, hey, I won the U.S. Nationals, they actually understand and know what that means, because it's very just known nationally and recognized to be one of the biggest drag races. So yeah, it means a lot. And it's so cool that we did it twice though. And that's actually a race my dad never got the chance to win. And so when we won it in 2019, that was the very first time our team has ever won the U.S. Nationals. And so again, just goes back to how emotional that whole weekend was for us. And so, it means a lot. And, some races are everybody, some races are people's favorite. The U.S. Nationals is a favorite for a lot of racers. And so, just the fact that you have the best of the best there. And, also the fact that they also had the All-Stars race at Indy too for a few years.
Correct.
And so there was literally like you were racing against the best of the best. And so you really had to give it your all and not mess up, at all. And so, just again, goes to show how great of a team we have. They were able to pull it off, give me the best car on the property to be able to win that race.
Next, we would transition from the NHRA to now the Nitro Chaos, which is a part of the Funny Car Chaos brand. Last year, you touched on this earlier, but last year they announced a race right by you at Mocan Dragway, and then you entered into it. Was that the plan to enter into it, or you're like, oh, I saw that they're coming close by, let's try something different?
Yeah, it wasn't until about a month and a half before the race was when I made the decision. So semi-planned, and honestly, I don't even remember the first time I heard about it, but I knew that it wasn't until like I heard about it a couple more times where I was really like, oh, like I want to do this race, because like I said, at the point I was done, I had no ambition of coming back. And I got a go-kart, and so I was busy racing that, and I was having fun with that. I have future plans to do that and to try out road course racing in the future. And
Oh, wow.
so I wasn't focused on drag racing at all. And my dad actually had to like sit me down and be like, hey, if you like have ever wanted the chance to race the big car at Mocan, he's like, this is your only chance. And so I was like, okay, like I should do this. And so we did. And now it's going to be back for this year, which I'm so excited.
Yes, before we get to that, you actually won last year.
I did. Yeah. And I remember that whole weekend. I was not stressed out about anything. I was just getting back into my old routine of, how I drive, how I prepare for the race. And we were just really having fun. Like we knew it wasn't an NHRA race, so we weren't worried about points. We weren't trying to be the fastest or the quickest car out there, which we weren't either. And we were just there just to have fun. It was just something, it's a racetrack that's really close to home. We had, just some of our crew guys that lived the closest around here came down, and we weren't really taking it super seriously, which is kind of the whole point of the Chaos series is they just want you to come and have fun. It's not political like it is over in NHRA and other series. And we just had the best time ever that weekend. And whether we won or if we lost the race, we still would have had a great time. I remember my dad saying in an interview that he had the biggest smile all weekend long because he was just having fun racing with us. He had his family back together at the racetrack, which it had been years since we were all there at the track together. And, whenever he goes to NHRA races, he's very stressed out and overwhelmed, and he's not happy and he's not enjoying it. Like he does it because he loves it, but it's not always the best time ever. And so I love how we all just had so much fun with it. And the fact that we won the race, like that was just so cool. It just made it even better. And so that really like planted a seed in my head of, oh, like maybe we could keep doing this if they have more races like this. And then a few months later, they announced that they were going to turn it into a series, but it's only 4 races, which 4 races is just enough for me. I don't want to be home, or I don't want to be gone away from home very much. And so it was perfect for me. The races some of them are close to home. Some of them are far away, like Cincinnati. And then the next one is Lufkin, Texas, which is about 10, 11 hours away from us. So,
Wow.
but it's not it's not too far of a drive. You know, we're not going all the way across the country like to Vegas to race. So so once I heard it was going to be a series for this year, I got really serious about it. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to need some money. So I had to go out and find some sponsorships. And thankfully, Gunk signed on board to be my title sponsor for 2 years. And they're also supporting Rachel for her to race in the Chaos Series.
Wow. And the reason why you can't race a lot is because you have a son at home as well.
Yes, I do. And his birthday is in a few weeks, and he's going to be turning 2, which is just crazy. Like, time is just flying by so fast.
Yes. And for those that do not know, the Funny Car Chaos and the Nitro Chaos events is put on by a guy named Chris Graves, and he has been around and been around drag racing for a while before he's done this. Because I know I met him a long time ago at Oak Ridge Township Raceway Park when he was with the Gas Monkey Garage Top Field Dragster team, and so I remember talking to him then. So it's been a while. This weekend you are competing. What's your expectations, being that you won last year at home? Do you feel a lot more pressure to do it again this year?
Yeah, I'd say there is a little bit more pressure. You know, I've gotten to know a lot of the guys that race in the Chaos Series, and you know, some of them do both the Funny Car Chaos and the Nitro Chaos. And I just love the fact that you can race against any type of car as long as they're running on nitro. Like, that's the only rule. And so, like, my last race, I got to race against Dale Creasy with his Top Fuel Funny Car. And, like, when would I have ever have the chance to do that, like, any other time? So I just love, like, it's so diversified. I get to meet a lot of new racers, and I'd be able to, like, make good friendships with them. And so it's just, you know, I love everything about the Chaos Series and what Chris is doing with it. He's done such a great job, and it's just so much fun. So going into this weekend, we're going to have 3 dragsters. So it'll be myself, my sister Rachel, and then Matt Sackman is going to be driving the OTG dragster this weekend. And which the 3 of us raced together at the last race in Eddyville for Memorial Day weekend. And I actually had to run against Matt and Rachel in first and second rounds to be able to move on to the finals. So I know them 2 are going to be coming for me. They want redemption, especially my little sister. Like, we are so competitive with each other. So I know she's going to be coming for me. So yeah, like, and the cars in the Chaos Series, like, they're fast. Like, you are running against guys that run Top Fuel motors. And so, like, for us, sometimes we're not the fastest car down the track. And so we really, like, need to find some power to be able to try to keep up with some of these guys. And so, you know, it's just a different challenge that we have. It makes it really fun. So right now I am tied for first place in points after I won the Eddyville race. And there's only 2 races left in the series. So we're already halfway through. Race number 3 is this weekend. So for me, I'm going to try and get as many points as I can, which means I need to be number 1 qualifier, because they do bonus points for qualifying. And then I need to win the race, so that way I have the chance to win the championship after that 4th and final race in a couple months. And so I'm going to be doing my best. I know, like, our guys are going to give me the best car out there to race. So hopefully it all goes in my favor, but you never know. Like, you never know what could happen out there, which every drag race, you never know what's going to happen, if the car is going to shake or smoke the tires or, you know, anything else. So, you know, just the thrills of drag racing. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm going to hope the best. We qualified number 2 last year and won the race. So this year, you know, there's only going up from there. So hopefully we get that number 1 qualifying spot and then win the race.
Yes. You touched on Dale Creasy Jr., and I know from watching that series, that I know that there's other NHRA people who have been involved in that series. Like Del Worsham, he competed in the funny car chaos. Scott Palmer set a record last year in either funny car chaos or the nitro chaos. I think it was the nitro chaos because it was Top Fuel Dragster.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got the Bull team, so Cliff Bax and Todd Bruce, who race regularly in the NHRA Tour. They're from Canada. They are coming down and doing the whole Chaos series this year. And rumor is there's going to be a couple other top alcohol teams coming to Mocan this weekend. So I don't know who's coming yet, but rumor is there's going to be more dragsters from NHRA coming over to try out the Chaos series. And, like I've been saying, it's so much fun, but also the payout is a lot better. And plus, you're saving on parts and fuel and oil and tires because it is 8th mile racing. So, you're saving costs and you can make more money. So to me, there's everything good about the Chaos series. It's so much fun. So I encourage more people to come try it out. I just hope they don't take me out.
or you might get in trouble for what you just said from the NHRA.
Oh, well, I'm not in NHRA anymore, so that doesn't bother me.
Well, sometimes I know, sometimes I write stuff and then they come at me and say, hey, you can't say that kind of stuff. But whatever, I'm my own person. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know Susan Wade deals with that stuff a lot from them. So it's crazy. They want to dictate everything that people do. And it was you can't do that.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Nitro Chaos may be a competitor to them one day? Maybe instead of 4 events, may do more, maybe a full series?
Well, I think they're already a competitor now. I think NHRA is, they've been struggling for the past couple of years, and they are losing some racers to other series because, just on the sportsman side, NHRA does not treat their sportsman racers that great. And, they always put everything else ahead of them. And so I know there's some people like my dad, for example, they're fed up with the treatment they get from NHRA after dedicating their whole life and my whole life to them. You'd think he might be treated a little bit better. So yeah, I think they're already a big threat to NHRA. I don't think Chris has any plans to expand the series, though. I think for him, he wants to keep it low key still. The Funny Car Chaos does 9 races a year, and he is so busy, doing those. He just kind of fits the Nitro Chaos wherever he gets time. So I don't think it would. I mean, maybe one more race next year. But I don't think it would really ever evolve to how big the Funny Car Chaos is.
Okay. And speaking of not only your father, but I know last year, I believe it was, maybe the year before, sometime recently, you guys were in Houston and your sister made this post on social media bashing the NHRA about the parking spot, and it was wet, and she was so mad about that.
Yeah, and it was probably at Houston because that's the worst, the worst ones ever. So I don't miss that about the Houston track going away.
And I know some of you guys kind of get mad about not getting airtime, and so some of them well, they have a limited time frame for their show when they're running a weekend, and say if there's race or an oil down. Well, they got to cut some of your sportsman racers out to get to the show so they can get it on TV, and then all the sportsman people get mad, angry at them.
Yeah, unfortunately that happens. So yeah, that's just, there's a huge list of things we could go over that people are disappointed with the NHRA. But you know what? Actually, TV time isn't worth as much as it used to. So to me, I don't even worry about that anymore because I know the value with social media is so much higher than the value on TV. And so that's why I focus so much on building up my own social media and the ones for our team, is because that's where you can really make a lot of money from and build up your brand and the value of your sponsorships. Whereas, if you're just only trying to get on TV, but you don't know yeah, they might cut you. They, like there's been so many times where I've done an interview with an HRA and then like it never gets aired. And it's
Oh,
like,
wow.
like that sucked. So,
Yeah,
um,
like I wasted my time doing this.
yeah, like like I promised my sponsor we'd get some airtime, and then didn't happen. So, yeah,
Wow.
so and with social media, you just have control over what you are doing, and like with TV, you don't have that type of control. You never know what's going to be on, and plus, it only airs at like 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody's watching it.
People sleeping.
Yeah.
Finally, Megan, I want to touch on this. Besides working on your father's race team, you are doing something special. You touch on social media, but you are helping racers build up their social media to help them get sponsors.
Yes. So this has been a passion project of mine for, man, almost I think a decade now, actually. So I was in college. I was studying graphic design, and I got my degree in graphics. And so I just started a freelance business because I went to, my dad and I had an agreement that I had to graduate from college before he would give me the chance to drive his car. And for me, like, I knew I wanted to do racing full time. And so I needed to find a career that I could work remotely or work, while I'm in the motorhome traveling
Correct.
to races. So that's where I went with graphic design. I knew nothing about it. I never took a design class in high school. Like, I don't even think they offered it. I didn't know anything about it. So, but the school that I went to, Pitt State in Pittsburgh, Kansas, which is 20 minutes from MoCan,
Oh, wow.
they have an amazing tech program there, and the teachers there were very supportive of me racing and using like a homework project to make hero cards for our team. Like they'd let me come and use the printers and screen print and make my own t-shirts. They'd let me do all that stuff after hours. And so absolutely loved what we did there. And so actually we are going to be bringing the car to campus, doing a big display tomorrow evening at Pitt State. So excited for that. I kind of started out there. I graduated in 2015, so I started college there in 2011, and now just thinking back, how far I've grown since then. It's going to be so cool to revisit campus and go back to where I was a few years ago. Yeah, so I just started doing freelance work. Like I'd make hero cards for other teams, went into doing website designs, and then did social media once that really hit it off. And now I do still do social media management for race teams. But my passion project, which is what I've been working on the last couple of weeks, is my online course and mentorship program where I teach racers how to use social media and how to get sponsorships and build up their brand value. So I've been working on redoing that, updating everything. I've got a new brand, a new company that I've been working on this year. So actually that'll be coming out in August. So
Wow.
yeah,
Few weeks.
yeah, really excited to debut that. So
That was my last question, but I do want to ask you this. You said you're bringing the car to your alma mater tomorrow. Has any of the professors reached out to you and maybe want to talk to you, maybe even bringing you, maybe that tomorrow will open up a door to bring you back and talk to the students?
I have not for this specifically, but I have done that in the past.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, but I'm sure tomorrow there might be some teachers that will come up to me and might ask. So yeah, but I would be happy to if they do ask.
Well, I would like to say good luck to you this weekend, Megan, at MoCan Dragway. Maybe you'll win again. Who knows? We don't know what the future is, but maybe you win again. And maybe you'll come back at an NHRA event one day. Who knows? We don't know what the future holds, but maybe you'll come back. Like I said, thank you for your time. I know you have another interview in a few minutes, so I'm gonna say this is the end of Megan Meyer's interview. Outside of being on Facebook Live and YouTube right now, currently, It can be rewatched there later. It's going to be uploaded to Rumble, BitChute, and it's going to be on Spotify, the former Anchor.fm, Spotify for podcasters platform as well in the near future. Thanks again, Megan, for your time this evening, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you for having me on again.